Welcome.
Unfortunately, it is now certain American tech giant Intel has officially withdrawn from its nearly $5 billion factory in Poland. Going forward, we will follow a systematic approach to growing our factory footprint that's fully aligned with the needs of our customers. We will be judicious and disciplined as we allocate capital, because that's what great foundries do. With that in mind, we have decided not to move forward with previously planned projects in Germany and Poland. The modern factory of the U.S. giant was to employ 2,000 specialists and process up to 10% of the world's processor production. The huge investment near Wrocław was arranged by the Law and Justice government in 2023, and the Prime Minister at the time, Mateusz Morawiecki. I can say that the vision I saw there, the vision of the development of the new Intel factory, is truly impressive and wonderful, and gives me great satisfaction. It was really worth striving for this investment. Today, after less than 2 years of the ruling coalition taking power, Intel is leaving Poland. This is a huge financial and technological loss for our country. Intel is a global giant, one of the largest manufacturers of integrated circuits. It has recently experienced problems, but this year it is already recording profits. The Americans do not want to invest, as they see that this investment would certainly be at risk. On the other hand, this is a problem for Poland and the entire macro region. That is why wherever Americans invest economically around the world, they also ensure security. There is also worrying news from France, where the energy giant EDF no longer intends to seek to build a nuclear reactor in Poland. EDF plans to reduce its presence in foreign markets and focus on domestic nuclear projects. Lower priority has been given to investments in Canada, India, and Poland, among others, and the company intends to focus on markets where it sees a higher chance of winning the bids. The project to build nuclear power plants in Poland was also initiated by the Law and Justice government. Another plan for SMRs, or small modular reactors, was also developed at that time, but it was blocked by the Tusk government, and former Orlen CEO Daniel Obajtek was attacked for it. The assessment, also by the current Orlen authorities, is ongoing, and there will be consequences. I am waiting for the final results of the actions of Orlen's services and management. To my knowledge, the current Orlen management has doubts, similar to those formulated by the services many months ago. Today, however, Tusk's government has suddenly changed its mind, declaring that modular nuclear reactors are good after all, calling them a real opportunity. And after 2 years of delay, the government is now going to speed up work in this matter. Let's deal with this quickly and settle the matter of these state-of-the-art modular medium-sized nuclear reactors. I hope that by the end of the summer, you will present a precise action plan on this issue. Poland is losing huge investments. At the same time, it is showing once again that the current government has neither a plan nor a strategy for Poland. It was an extremely important visit from the point of view of Poland's security. Over the course of a week, 6 parliamentarians from both sides of the political divide met with a dozen or so congressmen in Washington, D.C. There were also meetings at the State Department, the Pentagon, and even the White House. The only thing missing was a representative of Polish diplomacy. Unfortunately, Mr. Klich did not find the time to participate in these talks. He was simply not in Washington at the time. I did not see Mr. Klich at all during the entire week, so I don't know what the reasons were or what his tasks are. But during our busy week, Mr. Klich did not attend a single one of the dozens of meetings. This concerns Bogdan Klich, who by decision of the coalition government was to replace Marek Magierowski as Polish ambassador to Washington. Was supposed to, because although Magierowski was dismissed, Polish President Andrzej Duda never agreed to Klich's appointment as ambassador. They want to send to the United States the guy who was the Minister of National Defense at the time, who was responsible for the Polish army. It will be one big joke. Klich was the head of the Polish Ministry of Defense. during Donald Tusk's first term in office. It was during his tenure that the plane crash occurred, killing the Polish president and a large part of the Polish elite. Despite the threat from Russia, Klich disbanded Polish military units. He also discredited himself as a would-be diplomat, which is why President-elect Karol Nawrocki refused to sign his ambassadorial nomination. In addition to destroying Poland's defense capabilities, this civic platform politician repeatedly and falsely insulted Donald Trump, the current U.S. president. Donald Trump does not fully understand the concept of international security. A politician so harmful to Poland's national interest cannot represent Poland in the United States, which is why I declare today that I will not sign Bogdan Klich's nomination as ambassador of the Republic of Poland to the U.S. Let us recall, this is what Bogdan Klich wrote about Donald Trump after the end of his first term in the White House. Let us remember that according to Law and Justice, friendship with this unstable politician who does not respect democracy was supposed to be a guarantee of Poland's security.
Bogdan Klich
is a completely unacceptable representative of Polish diplomacy in the United States. He has terrible relations with the Trump administration. Such a nomination weakens our position as an American partner and ally. It is simply an ineffective move, or even one might say, a move against Trump, which is being used by Radosław Sikorski and Donald Tusk's team. The appointment of Radosław Sikorski as deputy prime minister is also unlikely to improve the Tusk government's relations with Donald Trump.
Przysięgam uroczyście.
The head of Polish diplomacy also has a quite impressive collection in his portfolio of posts and statements attacking our most important ally, Trump, Putin's man in the White House. For proto-fascists like Trump and Kaczynski, elections or verdicts are only important when they go their way. Sikorski attacked not only Donald Trump himself, but also the United States, like when he accused Washington, D.C. of damaging Nord Stream and Nord Stream 2. Thank you, USA, which the Russian representative used to spread the Kremlin's message at the UN.
He wrote, "Thank you, USA."
Sikorski also mocked Poland's alliance with the United States in crude terms. You know that the Polish-American alliance is worthless. It is even harmful because it creates a false sense of security for Poland. Why? Complete BS. We will come into conflict with Russia and Germany, and we will think that everything is great because we kissed up to the Americans. Losers. Complete losers. Donald Tusk is no better. Anyway, he didn't even hide his dislike of Donald Trump. Trump and his dependence on the Russian services is no longer a matter of debate. This is not my assumption. It is the result of an investigation by the American services. The American services do not rule out that Trump was recruited by the Russian services 30 years ago. Today, it is clear that it is this anti-American attitude that is the glue that binds the entire December 13th coalition. Economic acceleration and pro-Europeanism, more pro-Europeanism than pro-Americanism. That is, building a vision of Poland based on close cooperation with the European Union rather than transatlantic cooperation in this area. I think this is one of the key ideas. Donald Trump and his administration see this perfectly well. That is why they are openly focusing on cooperation with the right wing of the Polish political scene, hence the support for Karol Nawrocki before the elections and congratulations after them. Such a great win in Poland by Karol Nawrocki. He will be a great president. He won because he truly loves the Polish people. What interested the Americans? Of course they were interested in President Karol Nawrocki. It is clear that there was a lot of interest here, and the Americans will want to build relations with Poland through this channel rather than through the government channel, where there is a certain reserve towards the ruling party. Good relations and economic, political, and military alliances with the United States have been the foundation of Law and Justice's foreign policy for years. This is not an isolated exchange of rifle fire. This is artillery fire and aerial bombardment. A full-scale war is raging along a 200-kilometer stretch of the border between Thailand and Cambodia. This morning, the village chief informed us about the evacuation in a group chat. About 5 minutes later, we heard the sound of heavy weapons fire, which grew louder and louder. We evacuated. So far, more than 130,000 civilians have been evacuated from border towns. Several dozen people have already been killed in the clashes.
The Cambodian forces continue to use heavy weapons and long-range weaponry, supporting fire to attack the front lines and rear areas, affecting civilians and humanitarian sites such as hospitals. Clashes have been reported in 12 areas, including Chongbok, Chong An Ma.
The conflict between Cambodia and Thailand dates back to the early 20th century. It was then that the border was drawn, which Bangkok has contested for years. Although international tribunals have sided with Cambodia, the border area is mined and heavily militarized. There have been numerous local clashes there, but never on such a scale.
This is kind of like a long game that will not end just within today or tomorrow. I have to say that the border dispute, especially the issue of the demarcations of the kind of like the boundary between two countries, is kind of like the things that we need a spare time to discuss about this issue.
At this point, there is no threat of attacks on tourist attractions in either Thailand or Cambodia. But travel towards the border between the two countries and attempts to cross it are discouraged, as all border crossings have been closed.
We're also gravely concerned by the escalating violence along the Thailand-Cambodia border and deeply saddened by reports of harm to civilians. The United States urges an immediate cessation of hostilities, protection of civilians, and a peaceful resolution of the conflict.
Looking at a tourist map of the world, it is clear that there are more and more hotspots. The Middle East, North Africa, India, Taiwan, South Korea, and now Thailand and Cambodia. Even popular destinations such as the Italian or Greek islands can hardly be called oases of peace today. Over the past few days, more than 2,000 illegal immigrants have landed on the Greek island of Crete.